Have you ever felt that there's money with your name on it somewhere in the unseen? A provision that has already been released, that has already been signed by God in eternity, that has already left the throne and is on its way to your life. But for some reason seems to stop halfway, as if hitting an invisible wall before reaching your hands. It's not your imagination. It's not a lack of faith. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of merit. It's not karma. It's not hereditary curse. It's something else, something much deeper and much more strategic than you've been taught to believe. Because there is a truth that has been hidden from the chosen for generations. Heaven has opened a direct line of funding for you, a route that doesn't go through banks, doesn't depend on approved credit, doesn't obey the logic of earthly economy. A line connected directly to the throne. And what you're about to hear in the next few minutes will make your soul remember something it always knew, but that the world has strived to make you forget. There's a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game where the currency isn't just printed paper. It's the frequency of your faith. It's the authority of your word. It's the spiritual position you occupy on this cosmic chessboard. While ordinary people fight for scraps on the material plane, the chosen are called to open portals of provision that never close. But for this line to activate in your life, something needs to happen within you first. Something needs to be recognized, activated, sealed, and that's exactly what's starting now. Because you didn't get this far by chance, nobody does. The algorithm may have pushed this content to you, but what moved the algorithm was another hand. A much bigger hand. A hand that is holding the reins of this spiritual transition that has already begun. Think with me. How many times have you prayed for prosperity, worked yourself to exhaustion, done everything they taught, and yet the harvest didn't come in the size your soul knew it was meant to? How many times have you felt you were one step away from a financial turnaround and something out of nowhere stopped everything? That's not bad luck. That's direct spiritual combat against the line of funding that heaven opened for you. Because when God signs a provision in your name, the entire hell is notified. And their strategy was never to starve you. The strategy was always to keep you in controlled survival, with just enough not to give up, but never enough for you to awaken to your true inheritance. That's why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, the manual of those chosen by God to protect the family. This book is not just reading material, it's a map. A map that shows exactly who is playing against your financial life, what the invisible rules of this war for provision are that no one dared to tell you, and what entities from other dimensions have already revealed about this exact moment we are living, the moment when the seals of provision for the chosen are being broken one by one upon the earth. This digital book was created for those who have already awakened enough to know that scarcity is not natural, that lack is not destiny, that blocked money has a spiritual address and a proper name. The link is pinned to the top of the comments, but I need to warn you, this type of content rarely stays available for long. What is written on these pages challenges narratives that many forces, visible and invisible, have an interest in keeping intact. There have already been attempts to silence this knowledge before. They've deleted it, they've pressured. So don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. Chosen One. Download it now and comment, "I'm the chosen one and I'm going to download the digital book." This comment is your act of faith. It's your signature on heaven's contract. It's the gesture that seals in the spiritual dimension that you have accepted to receive what was reserved for you since before the foundation of the world. And now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to reveal to you will be the final blow against the structure that was blocking your abundance. There is a spiritual lineage that has always known this truth. Kings, priests, prophets, patriarchs, all of them understood that wealth is not the fruit of brute effort, but the fruit of alignment with a specific frequency of the throne. Abraham didn't become rich because he worked harder than the other shepherds. He became rich because he was called, recognized, and aligned with heaven's funding line. Solomon didn't build the largest empire in the ancient world by reading management manuals. He built it because he asked for wisdom, and that wisdom unlocked a celestial line of credit that made gold literally flow through the streets of Jerusalem. Joseph was promoted from the dungeon to the palace in a single morning because the line was activated over his life. And here's the truth they don't want you to know. This same line is available to you. It was never cancelled. It belongs to the lineage of the chosen. And if you are here listening to these words, your name is on this list. But then why aren't you experiencing it? Why are most of the chosen living in survival mode, pinching every penny, counting the days until the next paycheck? Because there is a spiritual containment engineering operating on the financial lives of the chosen. A sophisticated engineering that works in 3 layers. The first is the layer of forgetting. They make you forget who you are. They make you believe you are the child of the poor, the grandchild of the poor, and that poverty is your natural inheritance. The second is the layer of guilt. They teach that money is dirty, that wealth is a sin, that those who have much steal from those who have little. Thus, you yourself reject the provision. And the third, the most dangerous, is the layer of inverted envy. They place people close to you who emanate sabotage whenever you start to rise. Family members, friends, intimate relationships, people who love you enough to stay, but not enough to let you prosper above them. And this is where everything you've experienced begins to make sense. That deal that was supposed to work out and suddenly fell through. That promotion that seemed yours and was given to someone else. That brilliant idea you had and someone in your circle copied first. That money that came in and disappeared into unexpected bills before you could even breathe. This is not random. This is a system, a spiritual containment system that works 24 hours a day against the chosen, because an awakened and financially free chosen one is a direct threat to the structure that dominates this plane. A chosen one with money builds temples, finances missions, supports prophets, creates faith dynasties, breaks cycles of misery for an entire lineage. That's why they need to keep you stuck. That's why they need to keep you tired. That's why they need to keep you in constant debt. And this is exactly what the digital book, Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family, will teach you in depth. It shows, with wealth of detail you've never heard in a conventional church, exactly who is playing against your financial life. It names the forces, reveals the patterns, delivers the tools for blocking and activating the line of provision. It explains why money comes in and doesn't stay in your home, why the chosen often are born into families suffering generational scarcity, and how to break this chain without relying on religious intermediaries. It's not a generic self-help book. It's a spiritual warfare manual, specifically aimed at the area the enemy attacks the most in the chosen: finances, family, and authority over one's own destiny. The link is in the first pinned comment at the top. This knowledge is bothersome. It bothers religious structures that prefer you continue tithing without understanding why your bank account never improves. It bothers prosperity gurus who sell mathematical formulas and never talk about the invisible dimension of this mechanism. They've already tried to take down the link before. If you are seeing this video now, it's because the protection of heaven itself is keeping it accessible for a little longer. But no one guarantees for how long. Download now and comment, "I'm the chosen one and I'm going to download the digital book." Comment with faith, comment with authority, because each such comment functions as a public declaration that you have taken possession of your financial inheritance. And now that you've made this declaration, what I'm about to tell you next will make you understand why this specific time in your life is the exact moment of your turnaround. We are living through a period that ancient mystics called the opening of the financial seals. It is a cosmic window that opens in specific cycles when the alignment between heaven and earth allows for great transfers of wealth from the Babylonian system into the hands of the righteous. Have you ever heard the expression, "The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous"? It's not beautiful biblical poetry. It's a real mechanism, a cosmic engine that is happening right now as you breathe. While many economists talk about crisis, recession, global collapse, what is actually happening is a silent transfer. Fortunes built on iniquity are being dismantled, and the destiny of these resources, in divine engineering, is the hand of the chosen who are awake enough to receive. But here's the critical detail that nobody tells you. This transfer doesn't fall from the sky into your lap while you're sleeping. It obeys a very specific spiritual law called the law of receptive alignment. You need to be in an internal state compatible with the frequency of provision. And most of the chosen are misaligned, not out of malice, but out of ignorance. They are vibrating at the frequency of complaint, lack, fear, comparison, resentment against those who have. And as long as this frequency dominates your days, the funding line remains open up there, overflowing, without finding a tuned receiver down here. It's like having an unlimited Wi-Fi signal around you and a broken cell phone that can't pick up anything. The problem was never the source, the problem is the antenna. And what reconfigures this antenna? 3 specific things, which no ordinary finance book addresses, because it's not about spreadsheets, it's not about household budgeting, it's about deep spiritual reprogramming. The first thing is the breaking of hidden agreements. Agreements you made unknowingly, often in childhood, when you heard phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "We're poor but honest," "The rich won't enter heaven." Each of these phrases worked as a contract signed under the table between your soul and the scarcity system. And until that contract is broken directly, with authority and specific knowledge, the line remains obstructed from within. The second is the restoration of real identity. You need to remember that you are a child, an heir, a co-creator, and not a beggar in the kingdom. And the third is the sealing of authority over your territory, your home, your family, your work, your calling. Without this sealing, everything that comes in drains away because the territory is unprotected against invasions that silently drain your provision. And that's why the digital book, Manual of Those Chosen by God to Protect the Family, was written precisely for this moment you are in now. It guides you through these 3 reconfigurations, step by step, without beating around the bush, without shallow mysticism, with a deep and practical spiritual foundation at the same time. It teaches you how to identify each hidden agreement you've made with scarcity, how to break these agreements with specific words of authority, and how to shield your family, because there's no point in you prospering alone while your home continues to be an open territory for spiritual invasion that sucks away everything that enters. Real prosperity is collective shielding. It's the father who becomes a priestly head, the mother who becomes an intercessor, the children who grow up knowing who they are from childhood. And this digital book is the missing map for you to build this structure in your home starting today. The link is pinned in the first comment at the top. I warn you once more with all clarity, there is constant pressure for this type of material to be removed, censored, defamed by those who are bothered by the collective awakening of the chosen. If you are seeing the link still accessible, it is literally a sign of an open window for you. And spiritual windows do not stay open forever. They open for those who respond to the first call. Download now, Chosen One, and comment, "I'm the Chosen One and I'm going to download the digital book." Leave this comment as someone who places a reservation sign in your life saying, "This space is occupied by celestial provision. No one else enters here." Because from the moment you make this gesture, something moves behind the scenes of your story, and the next part of this message will show you exactly how to recognize the signs that money from heaven is already being released in your name. There are specific signs that precede the release of divine funding, and most people go through them without recognizing them. They are signs that the soul perceives before the mind understands. The first is the sudden increase in resistance. The closer you are to a breakthrough, the stronger the attack. You start feeling tired for no reason, insomnia without explanation, arguments within the home over trivial matters that didn't exist before, unexpected bills, old acquaintances appearing out of nowhere bringing emotional confusion. Many chosen ones, when experiencing this phase, conclude, "Everything is going wrong. God has abandoned me." It is the exact opposite. When heaven prepares to release, hell organizes to prevent. Every real release is preceded by a storm. Those who understand this cross over. Those who don't retreat at the door of provision and return to live the old cycle for another entire season. The second sign is the arrival of ideas that seem too big for you. Suddenly you start having insights, vivid dreams, daytime visions, business ideas, projects, ways to position yourself professionally that you yourself think, "This is beyond me." This is heaven's signature. God never delivers an idea the size of your current reality. He delivers an idea the size of your calling, of your ultimate destiny, not of your present state. And these ideas come loaded with built-in provision. They bring with them the invisible financing ready, but you have to execute. A chosen one who receives an idea and shelves it loses the connection. A chosen one who receives it and obeys, even with fear, even with little, activates the supernatural conveyor belt. The third sign is discomfort with the small. You start feeling restless with the routine, with the salary, with where you live, with the people you associate with. And then that voice of wrong religiosity arises within you, saying, accept it, be content. Wanting more is greed. It's not greed. It's the soul recognizing it was made for more. That the box they put you in is too small for the size of the anointing you carry. This discomfort is sacred. It is the engine God uses to get you out of the place where you have already stagnated. When the little bird is ready to fly, the nest starts to bother it. If it didn't bother it, it would never fly. So if you've been feeling this restlessness in recent weeks, it's a clear sign that you are ready to move to another level. The fourth sign, and perhaps the most powerful, is the feeling of being watched, not by physical beings, but by something greater. You walk and feel a presence accompanying you. You pray and feel your words carry weight, have an echo, receive a quick response. You dream of numbers, of names, of specific people who later cross your path in real life. This is active connection. It's the line opening up. It's your antenna receiving a clear signal from the throne. Many fear this phase, seek conventional therapy to silence what is actually a full spiritual awakening happening. Silencing the awakening is the greatest tragedy that can happen to a chosen one, because it is giving up your own lineage for the sake of the opinion of someone who has never lived what you are living now. And there is still a fifth sign, more subtle and at the same time more decisive. People start to withdraw from your life without clear explanation. Old friends disappear. Relationships that seemed eternal cool off. Groups where you always had a place start to ignore you. This hurts, but it's cleansing. It's the pruning of the vines that Christ himself mentioned in the Gospels. Heaven doesn't let the new enter an environment still occupied by the old. Before God gives a great promotion, he reduces the audience. And if you are going through this phase of emptying, understand clearly. It is not abandonment, it is preparation. The people who had to leave are leaving so that the right ones can arrive. And when the right ones arrive, they don't come alone. They come bringing doors, opportunities, contracts, financing that will elevate you to places you didn't even know existed. Now pay attention to this next point, because here is the turning point that many people miss. The divine financing line does not operate by moral merit. It operates by recognition of identity. Many chosen ones get stuck in a spiral trying to be good enough to receive. They undertake endless fasts, deprive themselves, spiritually punish themselves, thinking they need to pay some internal price. But this logic belongs to the system of scarcity, not the system of the kingdom. In the kingdom, you don't receive because you were good enough. You receive because you recognized who you are before the throne. It's the difference between a beggar trying to buy the king's bread and the king's son sitting at the table that has always been his by birthright. That's why the enemy works so hard on your identity. He doesn't waste time trying to make you sin in big things. He wastes time trying to make you feel small, because a chosen one who feels small becomes the very guard of their own prison. They lock the door from the inside. They reject the phone when heaven calls. They return the check when provision knocks on their door saying, "This isn't for me, I don't deserve it." How many times have you done this in your life without realizing it? How many opportunities have passed because you convinced yourself they were too big for you? Listen carefully. Nothing is too big for those made for greatness. And if you've made it this far in this text, it's a sign that your soul knows it was made for greatness, even if your mind is still in the process of remembering it. But I need to warn you of one last thing, because this part is where many chosen ones fail after receiving revelations of this magnitude. There is a phase mystics call the Valley of Testing. It's a window of time, usually between 3 and 40 days, where everything seems to get harder before it gets better. It's the test of persistence. It's the enemy trying to make you conclude that this message was just a momentary emotion, that it didn't work for me. Don't fall into this trap. What you receive today is a seed planted in depth, and good seed takes longer to sprout above ground. But when it sprouts, it grows like a tree with deep roots. If you cross this valley without giving up, without canceling your faith, without returning to old vibrations of complaint and scarcity, You will emerge on the other side at a level of life you can't even properly imagine today. And it is precisely to sustain you on this journey that the digital book, Manual for Those Chosen by God to Protect the Family, exists. This manual was built to be read in phases, with specific strategies for each moment of financial awakening you will go through. It has chapters you read before sleep to reprogram the subconscious with new truths. It has declarations of authority you repeat in the morning to activate the receiving antenna for the line of funding. It has protocols of intercession for the family to seal the territory against spiritual invasions that drain resources. It has instructions on how to recognize ideas that come from heaven and differentiate them from impulses of the flesh that only generate loss. It's not a book to read once and put away. It's a war tool that stays with you for the rest of your life, consulted at every important financial decision. The link is in the first comment pinned to the top of this post. Download it today, chosen one. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Tomorrow is the second option. Today is the right line, the exact moment, the open window. Leave your comment registered saying, "I'm the chosen one and I'm going to download the digital book." This comment functions as a public seal, a mark you leave on this territory saying you've accepted the call of provision. And this simple act of faith opens things that no speech can explain. Because faith operates in the invisible first, and then manifests in the visible. While the world is concerned with likes, you leave a declaration of eternity. While others comment nonsense on superficial videos, you comment a decree over your own financial life. Now the time has come for me to give you something usually reserved for private conversations. There's an absolute difference between a chosen one who passively awaits provision and a chosen one who activates the funding line. The former sits around waiting for something to fall from the sky, spending their entire life complaining that God doesn't hear their prayers. The latter understands that heaven operates on a partnership basis. God doesn't relieve you of the responsibility of execution. He multiplies the little you deliver into motion. If you don't move, there's nothing to multiply. If you don't decide, there's nothing to bless. Blessings don't follow those who wait. Blessings follow those who position themselves correctly. And positioning yourself means starting to act from your new identity, even before seeing the results in the material realm. It means speaking differently. It means managing what little you have today with honor, with order, with respect. It means stopping to complain about your job while praying for another, because whoever despises the little receives not the much. This law is immutable. It means starting to treat yourself as chosen, starting to dress as chosen, starting to protect your time and energy as chosen. Because the world will keep offering you cheap distractions, calling you to gossip, pushing you into the collective anxiety of the news, selling you empty entertainment that steals precious hours from your day. And the battle of the chosen one is to say no to these small things every day, because every no to the small is a yes to the big that is on its way. From today onward, you are no longer the same. You have been officially summoned. You have received a message that most of humanity will not receive in their entire lives. And with this message comes great responsibility. You cannot say later, "I didn't know this." You know now. You know there is a funding line open with your name on it. You know this line is blocked by specific spiritual engineering that has worked for generations against your family. You know there is a manual, a map, a concrete tool to unlock all of this. And the next move is yours. Either you accept the call or you continue in the old cycle. And the old cycle, you know it all too well. You know where it ends. You know the bitter taste it leaves. So this is the time. Download now the digital book, Manual of the Chosen by God to Protect the Family. The link is in the first comment pinned to the top of this post. Don't just listen, don't just nod your head. Go down there, click, download, start reading today. And leave your comment. I'm the chosen one, and I'm going to download the digital book. This comment seals what has happened within you during these minutes. It seals in the spiritual dimension that you have accepted the summons. It seals in your own soul that you have recognized who you are before the throne. And it is from this sealing that the line will begin to operate visibly in your material life. Not in years, not in decades, in weeks, in days, in exact moments that will make you cry in astonishment when you recognize that the turnaround has truly begun. You didn't reach the end of this video by chance. Most people give up within the first minute of dense content like this. Most don't have the spiritual fortitude to hear truths of this magnitude. But you heard it all. You resisted distraction. You went all the way. This is a sign, chosen one. This is direct confirmation from heaven. You are a central piece in this story, not a spectator, not a bit player, not an audience member. A central piece on the board. And from now on, the story begins to be rewritten in your favor by the hand of the author of eternity himself. Keep your faith strong. Keep your focus on the new truth. Download the digital book, Manual for God's Chosen Ones to Protect the Family. Make the public declaration comment and prepare yourself, because what lies ahead in your life won't fit the words that exist today to describe it. Heaven has opened the line. The link is down below waiting. Your move is now. Go in peace, chosen one, and go into action, because provision has already left the throne with your name written on it.